classified as da'if. And the information which was gathered, which enabled them to make these analyses, was information which was handed down by those who were also handing down the hadiths. That they used to make records of those who attended the circles of hadith. Those who taught each other and the strength of their memories, how effective they were, those who used to write down, those who made mistakes in their narrations, they passed on this information at the same time. This information was compiled, and it ended up also in books, which came to be known as the books of biography, the biographical books, or kutub al-rijal. And from comparing the information of these books, the narrators were categorized as to whether they were reliable or whether they made mistakes on occasion, whether they were liars, and all these kind of things. They analyzed them. And there are three main conditions which need to be met for a hadith to be considered sahih. Now, the actual number of conditions is more than three. I just chose for this introduction to the science three, the main three. And the first condition is referred to as adl, or adala, that the narrator be truthful, a known practicing Muslim, righteous, honest, God-fearing, pious. This had to be the character of the individual. If it wasn't, they did not narrate from them. Now, if we use that criterion for the information which is conveyed to us in the newspapers and other sources, television, etc., hey, we just have to shut down all the televisions and tear up all the newspapers. We couldn't trust these people. These people in their personal lives are corrupt. They lie without any qualms. If it will make them famous, they'll lie in a minute, right? So that criterion, it just shows you the stringent kind of requirements that they had. That the people had to be known to be righteous, practicing Muslims. And Imam Bukhari, there's an incident from his life which demonstrates how picky he was, where on one occasion he went to gather a hadith, to collect a hadith from somebody some distance away. He had rode for a number, for some days or whatever. He came to the man's house, and the man was outside the house trying to catch his donkey. The donkey had run away, so he was trying to catch it. So what he did was he picked up his stove and he held it like this and was sort of shaking it, implying to the donkey that there's some food in there, so the donkey would come. When the donkey brought his head, he caught him, right? Took him back and tied him up. Imam Bukhari observed this. He had gotten off his horse, he observed it, he got back on his horse and left. He didn't collect the hadith from him because he felt if he would trick the donkey like this, because it was a trick. And what he did was he tricked him. He faked that there was food there. There's no food there. Okay? He would prefer not to narrate any hadith from this man. This was Bukhari, very picky. This is why Sahih al-Bukhari, this compilation of hadith, is classified, considered amongst Muslims to be the most authentic book after the Quran. That's how they refer to it. Asahul kitabi ba'da kitabillah, Sahih al-Bukhari. Well known. Anyway, the first condition we said is that the narrator had to be righteous. The second condition is that he had to have this quality of what is called dabt in Arabic, dabt, which meant accuracy, in his narration. Either he narrated accurately from his memory, or he narrated from written texts. So it's either accuracy of narration from memory or accuracy of narration from written text. They call it dabt al-sadr and dabt al-kitaba. Now, how would they know who was accurate in their memory and who wasn't? What would happen is that when a scholar of hadith was teaching, he had a group like yourselves. He would narrate a hadith. He would be teaching a subject and he would narrate the hadiths on that subject, explaining. Prophet ﷺ said this. I mean, after saying, I heard from so-and-so, who heard from so-and-so, who heard from the Prophet ﷺ, who said he said this, that he did this, he approved this, or whatever. Then he would go on teaching through wudu, through tahara, salah, and he would work his way through the various areas of Islamic knowledge. And his students would stay with him. Some would stay, some would go, some would join, some would stay for a while, some would, The main body would stay with him, and they would study under him for years. Not a 3-day course. For years they would sit with him. So it means, what happened? The information he was conveying, do you think those who stayed with him for 10 years, for example, during the period of that 10 years, you think all he conveyed to them was new information? Maybe after a year was over,